Tokyo, Japan, the global fashion world came to a standstill that night. While all eyes were on Dior's lavish runway show held at the heart of Japan's capital, the spotlight veered away from haute couture collections and fell squarely on one iconic figure whose appearance shattered the night's stillness into a frenzy of screams. Jimin of BTS emerged as the guest of honor in an exclusive Dior ensemble, and the world was not ready for the impact. Was this just a regular appearance, or the beginning of something greater between the worlds of fashion and K-pop? Instantly, the event's exclusive and silent atmosphere exploded with emotion. The moment Jimin stepped onto the red carpet, the mood shifted dramatically. His presence triggered a wave of energy that rippled from the runway floor to the audience stands and beyond, into the digital universe. Thousands of fans at the venue, previously silent under strict no-yelling rules, broke protocol as the BTS member emerged from behind the VIP curtain, surrounded by camera flashes and the dramatic silhouette of Omotesando's towering architecture. Cries and laughter rang out in unison. Dior wasn't merely presenting its fall collection. They were delivering a new chapter in the history of celebrity fashion relations. But what happened that night was more than just a celebrity appearance. It was a moment crafted with strategic and artistic precision, blending Dior's symbolic power with Jimin's captivating, nearly flawless persona. He wore a long cashmere wool coat in cream, adorned with shimmering embroidery that resembled Tokyo snowflakes, paired with handcrafted leather shoes and tailored trousers that fell perfectly atop the granite stage. A CD, Christian Dior, logo brooch was pinned to his collar, a symbol of status, influence, and a collaboration that went beyond mere endorsement. Questions began to surface. Was this simply an invitation extended to a global pop star, or the start of Jimin's direct involvement in haute couture design? Many fashion observers noted that Jimin's appearance held strategic, even political significance in Dior's expansion narrative in Asia, and more broadly, as proof that the fashion industry can no longer be separated from entertainment. Dior seems keenly aware that in the digital era, the power of fashion lies not just in design, but in who wears it. Not only did he sit front row with LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault and Dior's head designer Kim Jones, but Jimin was also rumored to have attended a private after-party, an elite gathering of industry insiders. Internal sources reported that Jimin wasn't just a guest, but the subject of an exclusive presentation on Dior's new line combining contemporary Asian art with classic European tailoring. Jimin's involvement in the creative process has not been officially confirmed, but the signs are too strong to ignore. One thing is certain: the public response was extraordinary. Within 2 hours of his appearance, Jimin Dior Tokyo trended #1 in over 50 countries. Videos of his arrival, uploaded by fashion media outlets and fans, surpassed 10 million views within hours. Online comments ranged from artistic praise to emotional outpourings. Jimin didn't just walk the runway, he rewrote its meaning, wrote one visual culture analyst on Twitter. Meanwhile, Vogue Japan's official account described it as a moment that split Asian fashion history in two. The grandeur of the event cannot be separated from its broader context. Dior appears to be making a strategic move to align its brand with the pop culture forces defining this generation. After naming Jimin their global ambassador, Dior now seems to be investing deeper, not just in his image, but in the cultural influence he carries. His appearance was part of Dior's broader strategy in East Asia, including the launch of their new flagship store in Tokyo Midtown and the unveiling of a collaborative program with contemporary Asian artists. Interestingly, Jimin's presence came just days after his fellow BTS members, Jin and Jungkook, shook up fashion with the launch of Calvin Klein's Korean Heritage capsule collection. Many speculate that this timing was no coincidence. Rather, it appears to be a coordinated movement by BTS members now reshaping the relationship between culture, identity, and artistic expression post-military service. While Jin and Jungkook tell the story of history and cultural evolution through modern hanbok symbolism, Jimin represents the marriage of European romanticism with Asian elegance. A source from Tokyo's fashion world described Jimin's appearance as a strategic pivot point for global branding. They added, "There is a power only Jimin can bring. He doesn't just show up, he redefines the stage." Some fashion critics even claimed Jimin's impact was on par with Lady Gaga's first dramatic multi-layered Met Gala look. Except this time, the drama was subtler, yet just as electrifying. Remarkably, amidst the luxury, Jimin's appearance remained personal. Cameras captured several moments of him waving gently, smiling at fans from a distance, and forming finger hearts, as if to say that even surrounded by fashion royalty and industry elites, he still belongs to ARMY. Fans in attendance said just seeing Jimin for 10 seconds brought them to tears. "He didn't say a word, but we felt everything," said a South Korean fan who waited hours outside the venue. Social media analysts noted that Jimin's effect far exceeded physical presence. Within 24 hours, Dior-related search trends rose 80% on Google Trends, while the brand's official site saw traffic spikes from Asia to Latin America. Several of the items Jimin wore sold out instantly online, including a coat and accessories not yet officially part of any retail collection. This proves Jimin's influence isn't just visual. It's a real, measurable economic force, a journalist from Harper's Bazaar Asia wrote. Jimin is the bridge between two worlds, one where fashion is structure and status, and the other where emotion, identity, and personal expression are central narratives. He connects both with the precision of an artist and the influence of a cultural leader. This statement is grounded in fact, as Dior has repeatedly stated they see Jimin not only as an ambassador, but as a creative partner. Looking at the industry's response, several fashion houses are starting to adopt a collaborative model that includes Asian stars as part of the creative team, not just as promotional faces. Jimin is the symbol of this shifting paradigm. He doesn't merely dress fashionably, he helps build the brand's narrative. His presence sets a new precedent in the relationship between celebrity, fashion, and culture. Meanwhile, K-pop industry analysts called Jimin's appearance a signal of BTS's global return, not just as a group, but as individuals now operating in multinational domains, still emotionally and culturally connected. While Jin and Jungkook bring Korean heritage into streetwear via Calvin Klein, Jimin brings Asian elegance to the European couture stage, together painting a new canvas for K-pop in the world of visual art and fashion. That night, Tokyo was not just a host for Dior's show. It became a stage for history, uniting East and West, past and future, emotion and structure. Amidst luxury, dazzling lights, and provocative designs, one thing is undeniable. Jimin's presence made it more than a fashion show. He turned it into an experience, a cultural statement, and perhaps the beginning of something far greater than we can currently imagine. Now, many are asking, what's next? Will Jimin collaborate directly on Dior's next collection? Or is this part of BTS's multi-platform narrative now taking over the global stage beyond music? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, that night in Tokyo will never be forgotten, and Jimin's name is now etched not just on the guest list, but in the history of world fashion. Yet the reverberations of that historic night didn't stop there. Within hours of Jimin's appearance at Dior Tokyo, global media, from The Guardian and ELLE to Le Figaro, published op-eds openly stating that Jimin's involvement is no longer mere celebrity spectacle, but symbolic of South Korea's cultural diplomacy. A senior columnist at Business of Fashion wrote, "When Jimin stepped onto Dior's runway, he brought more than brand endorsement. He carried the collective spirit of a nation, a post-militarization narrative, and the identity of Gen Z Korea now standing as a global fashion pillar." This analysis aligns with data from several Asian marketing research firms, which reported a global digital interaction spike of over 300% for Dior within 48 hours of the event. Meanwhile, Dior's official social media post featuring Jimin became their most liked and most shared content in digital history, surpassing previous campaigns starring Hollywood celebrities. The impact even reached South Korea's parliament, where some legislators expressed support for using the moment as concrete proof that Korea's soft power, traditionally shaped through music and drama, is now influencing the fashion industry on an unprecedented global scale. Jimin, once known as a singer and dancer, is now actively referred to as a de facto cultural ambassador by cultural scholars. Interestingly, in a brief, spontaneous backstage interview, Dior creative director Kim Jones made a comment that reignited speculation. "We really value Jimin's perspective on many design details this year. There's something about how he understands the body, movement, and fabric that can't be taught. It's organic." This statement served as a subtle acknowledgement that Jimin's creative involvement is far from passive. With all these signals emerging, many observers conclude that this is not an endpoint, but the beginning of a long-term collaboration between Jimin and Dior. Tracing historical footprints between fact and sensation in the narrative that shook the global fashion world, we witnessed a new chapter, when haute couture fashion meets the unmatched K-pop phenomenon. But before we get too caught up in the dazzling imagery, we must ask, does all this truly exist in the form described? Or is it merely a crafted narrative designed to attract attention? Every fact and claim we outlined, from the roar of thousands of fans breaking silence protocol to the claim of Jimin's creative participation in the design process, comes from a multitude of sources: TikTok clips, unofficial YouTube uploads, viral Twitter posts, and mass media reports. But have these new media forms been reliably verified? Or are we consuming half-baked narratives shaped purely for sensation, a series of dramatic moments? Were they all accurately recorded? The video showing Jimin appeared within hours and garnered tens of millions of views. Strong digital proof. But do these uploads contain valid metadata or timestamps? The disruption of silence protocol in Omotesando, did it really happen? Or is it just the dramatic effect of video editing? Each description sparks awe and admiration, but should also demand verification. Are there any official audio records or public statements from Dior, the venue managers, or official army? The Dior-Jimin double ribbon. Serious collaboration or public theater? The claim that Jimin was not only present but also served as an internal presentation subject for Dior's new line merging contemporary Asian art with classic European tailoring sounds highly strategic. Is it true Dior opened its creative table to a celebrity? With the statement, "We highly value Jimin's perspective," from Kim Jones, we're tempted to believe. But is that truly Kim Jones' direct quote, or media interpretation exaggerated to emphasize the deep collaboration narrative? Reflect. If the involvement was only endorsement level, wouldn't it be easier to release a press statement about a heavy collaboration? Why did it have to be rescued through viral new media for validation, economic and digital impact, alarm, or statistical illusion? The data presented, like an 80% spike in Google Trend searches, a surge in sales of specific Dior items, and global traffic to Dior's site, all create an impression of real impact. But let's dig deeper. Are the data sourced directly from Google or from accountable third-party analysis? Is the sales spike long-term or just an initial burst that soon fades? All effects are measured in 48 hours, a time frame too short to define a lasting trend. Could these figures be statistical tricks spun to support a dramatic narrative, cultural diplomacy impact, soft power, or PR strategy? Some claim Jimin's appearance in Tokyo was a new layer in South Korea's cultural diplomacy, even discussed in parliament. True, such events can contribute positively to national image. But are there official statements from government officials or parliamentary documents available to the public? Or is this merely a political rumor twisted by media buzz? Visual critique and aesthetic moments, subjective or composed. Every decade, fashion icon moments rise and fall instantly, like Lady Gaga at the 2010 Met Gala or Rihanna at CFDA 2015. Such comparisons elevate Jimin's image. But have we seen independent, professionally documented visual moments, credited to official Dior photographers, not just fan-shot videos. Your reflection as a reader. We now challenge you, readers who value factual accuracy and journalistic precision, to question this entire narrative. Do you believe the Jimin Dior story is authentic, or a reflection of a digital landscape that exaggerates imagery through virality? Statements like, Dior views Jimin as a creative partner. Do you require evidence in the form of official contracts, collaborative studio photos, or actual sketches? When both mainstream and alternative media publish dramatic op-eds, have you ever traced the primary quotes from reporters or internal Dior sources? If this truly is a paradigm-shifting collaboration, will we see a tangible Dior Jimin product in the coming year? Isn't couture design something that usually takes time to develop? Skepticism and reflection. Why it's essential in today's digital era, where a single celebrity photo can go viral within minutes. We must remain vigilant against two dangerous terrains: the era of hoaxes. Sensational information without verification can be easily created via editing or fake rumors, algorithm-driven sensationalism. Often it's not facts that prevail, but the most attention-grabbing narrative. Critical thinking doesn't mean rejecting all new things. It means demanding that every claim be grounded in concrete proof. Every form of news, be it from TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, or newspapers, must be interpreted through the lens: what is the original source of this claim? Who benefits most if the narrative continues? Who suffers from the lack of official clarification? An invitation to you, the reader: investigate original content. Did the video come from Dior's official account? Has Kim Jones ever posted about Jimin on official channels? Check the media record. Have credible fashion outlets like WWD, Business of Fashion, or Vogue explicitly interviewed Dior sources or Kim Jones? Ask yourself, does this narrative deepen your understanding of fashion and K-pop culture, or just provoke momentary awe? Closing, a call for realism. That night's event, with all its symbolism, spotlights, and drama, may have been real, or it could be the result of a refined collaboration between Dior's marketing strategy, celebrity consumerism culture, and the public's thirst for grand narratives. Before we cheer for a new era between fashion and K-pop entertainment, let's ensure we're not letting virality distort reality. Let's use common sense. Demand transparency and proof, verify data, and avoid the echo chamber effect of media. Be why maintaining a healthy dose of skepticism. We're not stifling creativity, but ensuring that the emerging creative collaborations are truly authentic, not just spectacular performances with no tangible trace. Open questions for you. Do you believe Jimin's presence at the Dior runway that night was solid fact, or merely the product of a deliberately built digital narrative? If you're skeptical, what's the most concrete evidence you feel is needed to change your mind? And if you believe it's real, what's the next step you hope to see? A real Dior Jimin product on the market, or an official statement from Dior/Kim Jones? We invite you to engage, to question, and to resist narrative simplicity. Because in a world where images can be crafted, silhouettes digitally created, and viral words can replace verification, only critical thinking can bring us back to reality. Thank you for taking the time to read reflectively. We await your critical thoughts in the comments. Looking back, the fashion world is not merely a runway showcase. It's a game of imagery, narrative power, and more than that, a tool of cultural legitimacy. In this context, Jimin's appearance on the Dior stage, covered as something monumental, needs to be seen not only from an aesthetic appreciation angle, but also as an event that must be dissected ideologically. Who shaped this narrative? For whose benefit? And how does it impact the way we see reality? It's worth noting that social media has created an information landscape that doesn't always rely on strict verification. Often, the faster and more dramatic wins virality, not what is most accurate. In this Jimin Dior case, how many of us consume the news without tracing the original source? How many of us unknowingly spread the narrative without knowing whether the event really happened as described? Statements like, Jimin has redefined the runway, or his presence split Asian fashion history in two, are rhetorically powerful. But do these statements rest on deep cultural analysis? Or are they mere hyperbole meant to stir up hype? Shouldn't we distinguish between symbolic influence and more structural, tangible influence in the fashion world? Dior, market strategy, and Asian representation. It's undeniable that the inclusion of figures like Jimin in global campaigns shows a serious strategy from fashion houses like Dior to expand into the Asian market. But let's ask further. Did Jimin's involvement stem from an equal and creative partnership, or was he merely the face of a predetermined product? Is this truly authentic cultural representation, or mere tokenization of an Asian celebrity to conquer a profitable market? We must be honest, such collaborations don't always generate real creative space for Asian figures. Sometimes, their involvement is only visual, not as decision makers in design or production. So how can we distinguish between genuine and merely cosmetic representation? Public emotional reaction, validation, or manipulation? When it's said that just 10 seconds of seeing Jimin brought fans to tears, reflects the depth of emotional connection between celebrity and fan. But on the other hand, are such emotional moments intentionally constructed by media systems to generate loyalty and economic attachment? We must question how emotions are capitalized on by the industry, from instantly sold-out clothing to massively monetized digital content. The phenomenon of digital intimacy, when celebrities feel close via social media, isn't always neutral. It creates an illusion of closeness that's actually built through highly strategic planning. So, is this intimacy truly pure, or just another form of veiled commercial persuasion? Unpacking future projections. Will there be a Dior x Jimin? The big question on many minds. Will Jimin design his own collection? Will he appear in the next season's official campaign as a co-creator, not just an ambassador?